Kept you waiting, huh? I'm back with another attempt at Baldur's Gate 3's Honor Mode. For those who don't know, Honor Mode is the hardest difficulty in Baldur's Gate 3. It restricts you to a single save file you can't go back in time with. It also makes boss fights much more difficult by giving them legendary actions. Last time I tried one of these, I failed miserably, 3 times in a row. But this time, I will be taking no more half measures. Have I ever told you the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. This run, a few things must change. First of all, our main character, Nunya. Nunya what, you ask? Nunya business. Nunya is going to take 2 levels in Paladin and 10 levels in Bard. This gives them access to incredibly powerful control spells and divine smites. Not to mention, his high charisma makes him incredibly persuasive. Give me your credit card. The next major change to our team composition is our front line. For the first 11 levels, I'm gonna replace Lae'zel with Karlach. While Battlemaster is a great subclass from start to finish, many of you pointed out that Berserkers have a crazy good early game. This is because their Frenzy gives them an extra attack with their bonus action. Additionally, there's a ton of gear in Act 1 which boosts throwing attacks, which synergizes perfectly with Berserker's Enraged Throw. The fighter is going to be much better when they get their 3rd attack, but that's going to be much later down the line, if we get there. Another big change is what we do with Shadowheart. For my previous run, I used her as a Light Cleric. While Light Clerics have great utility in crowd control, there's something better than that. Damage. We're gonna make her a Storm Sorcerer Tempest Cleric multiclass. The Tempest Cleric Channel Divinity allows them to maximize their damage for lightning and thunder spells. When a creature is wet, the damage done by electric attacks doubles. And as a sorcerer, you can quicken your spells to cast spells such as, create water as a bonus action. You see where this is going. And lastly, we have Astarion. He's going to be the exact same, a Gloomstalker Assassin multiclass. Gloomstalkers get an extra attack at the start of combat, and Assassins get advantage on enemies who haven't attacked yet. But more importantly, any attack on a surprised creature is a guaranteed critical hit. Put all that together, and you have a monster that trivializes most minor fights. With the game plan out of the way, now we can begin the adventure. Baldur's Gate is a huge game. Since I already have a video on this channel that exclusively shows Act 1 kicking my ass, I'm going to keep Act 1 pretty short in this video. That being said, here's a rundown. The first thing I spent gold on was summoning 3 hirelings and turning them all into clerics. At level 3, a cleric learns the spell Warding Bond. This spell allows a cleric and another party member to essentially share the damage they take. So, for example, if a cleric casts Warding Bond on me, and I take 12 damage, that 12 damage becomes 6 damage split between the 2 of us. There's no distance requirement for the spell, which means that we can summon 3 hirelings, make them all clerics, have them each cast a Warding Bond on our party members, and then leave them in the camp. These hirelings can also cast Aid, which increases the maximum HP of the entire party for the day. As a result, using these hirelings more than doubles the effective HP of all of our party members. Is it cheesy? A bit. But remember, the mode accounts for this. The developers aren't pulling any of their punches, so neither will I. I spend the first act throwing myself at every encounter I can find. More encounters means more experience, which means that things will be easier as we go along. We befriend a dog, save some people from a burning village, kill a truckload of goblins, regular hero antics. But after that, it was time to confront an old enemy, the Gnolls. These pieces of shit ended 2 of my honor runs in my last video. Let the hunt begin.
Gnolls see your whole world as a meal. This voice is acting as a leash, but it won't.
Turns out you can just tell her to kill everyone. And then herself. It kinda sucks that I lost 2 of my runs to this fight, but special thanks to Cynthia for pointing this out, I guess. The last thing on our Emerald and Byron's checklist is to confront Auntie Ethel. She's a hag, and hags are pieces of shit who prey upon the vulnerable with their totally legitimate deals. Ethel is no different. After deftly navigating her traps, we sneak up on her and... whatever. We stumble into her cave and oh, wow, there she is. I'm really surprised right now. Her gimmick is that on her turn, or as a reaction to a party member casting a spell, she can create 5 clones of herself that can all do the same things as her, which means they can cast Hold Person, which essentially takes a human out of the fight until someone saves them. With the extra round of combat she got, she had 2 out of 4 of her party members held at a gunpoint. Very scary, but with a little bit of elbow grease, we came out on top. We spare her, and she gives us the Hag's Hair, which allows us to raise one of our attributes by 1. I raised Nunya's Charisma by 1 to beef up his spellcasting and Persuasion. But apparently, sparing an evil piece of shit breaks my Paladin's oath. That's weird. Moving on down into the Underdark, we get into a fight with a Spectator. This gives us an opportunity to test Shadowheart's damage on a Spectator. We throw some water on it, send her up to... Fuck. I said, we send her up, throw a lightning orb at it, and... Good God. Moving into Grimforge, Shadowheart casts Hold Person on Nier, and he dies. But there's something else in this forge. I fear no man, but that thing. It scares me. Grim. The first time I fought him, he summoned a horde of winged shitters who killed half of my team before I even had a chance to react. So coming back to him, I did the only rational thing I could think of. I cheesed him. While I'm up here, he can't do diddly squat. I know, it's a bit scummy, but in my defense, fuck this guy and his lackeys. Anyone who's seen what this guy did to me in the last video knows it's justified. But I will keep cheesing to a minimum in the future. We also briefly hit the Githyanki Crush, where I make light work of an otherwise pretty difficult boss. Find a legendary flashlight, and holy shit, we finally got out of Act 1. This is officially the furthest we've ever made it away from the Shire. This act is informally known as the Bullying Act, because we can convince so many bosses to kill themselves for free XP. As a result, the footage for this act is pretty short. We barely even need to rest. Between telling emotionally unstable adults to kill themselves, we find the Helmet of Arcane Acuity. Every time we attack someone while wearing this helmet, our spell save DC increases by 1. Very helpful for our bard who likes to stab people. Next, we infiltrate Moonrise Towers. This is supposed to be the source of that tadpole in our brain, which, oh, yeah, I haven't talked about the plot at all, have I? Okay, well, quick plot rundown. There's tadpoles in our head. They're going to turn us into mind flayers, but some mysterious lady in our head stops that from happening. There's a lady in my head that calls me Stud Muffin. Please leave me alone. The source of these tadpoles are kept in a place called Moonrise Towers. Turns out we're not so special because all the bad guys here also have tadpoles in their brains. Their top general, Ketheric Thorm, is also... We pretend to be evil so that these chumps can send us on a quest to help ensure that their boss stays immortal. The fools. We arrive at the temple they ordered us to go to, and as the kids say, show that we stand on business.
You think striking down my body will be the end of me?
And now, unfortunately, we have to go through the Gauntlet of Shar. There's a bunch of challenges here that are at best tedious and at worst lethal. Luckily, I am armed with an internet browser and an intense desire to not do puzzles. These tricks are pretty helpful, so pay attention. They'll be on the quiz. The first trial is the Soft Step trial. Once activated, you have to navigate a trap-filled labyrinth without getting caught by guards. Keyword being, once activated. I guess those are really key words, but whatever. You can skip this by breaking into the labyrinth before starting the trial, and walking all the way to the end. Then you can have a party member activate the trial and bam, you just get it. Easy stuff. The next challenge is the self-same trial. You have to fight clones of your party, and you have to hit the correct corresponding clone. So if you're playing as Karlach, you have to hit Karlach. Otherwise, you suffer a penalty to your ability scores. Your clones do not have that restriction, and that's very annoying. On Honor mode, I'm just not going to deal with it. To trivialize this, you just unequip everything before starting the trial. Especially if you have good gear. That means you have to take off your water sparklers. I know it'll be tough without them, but you can't have them electrifying the floor underneath them. That would ruin everything. Once you start the trial, you can just put your gear back on, and you're fighting 4 unarmed, unarmored losers. You can also surprise them too, because why not? And then we have the most annoying one, the Faith Leap trial. There's an invisible path on the ground that you need to follow perfectly, and if you fail to follow it, it sends you back to the start. Fail it too many times, and it kills your character. But check this shift out. Pressing shift actually shows you the path that you need to follow, so you don't even need to worry about it. I'm not even lying, it is really just that easy. And for the last one, we just have to convince this all-powerful demon to commit a murder-suicide. You know, because we're the good guys. With all the trials completed, we can free the source of Ketheric's immortality, which is called the Night Song and is also a person, actually. Now that he is no longer, we can just kill him.
You dare show yourself here. You have betrayed. And for what? These harpers.
Where is he? Where is Omni-Man?
Are you sure?
Minutes later.
Where is he? Where is Omni-Man? Where is he? Where is Omni-Man? Where is Omni-Man? You. Where is he?
Why would you show mercy now?
Where is Omni-Man?
Guess who's finally getting his powers?
Are you sure?
It's Cecil! Focus, you're a
Enough.
I like your cut, G.
he retreats into the castle walls, so we follow him in. Once inside, we find us, who we found on the ship earlier in Act 1. I didn't show it in this video because we found him in Act 1 and, we've already seen a lot of Act 1, but he's there. And now us is with us. Then we find out that things are actually much more worse than they seem. It turns out that Omni-Man and a couple of his friends are actually controlling an Elder Brain. And the Elder Brain controls the Mind Flayers, so this is not good. Both of these guys have been added to the hit list. Once those other guys leave, we get the jump on Omni-Man and tell him to kill himself. He complies. Well, kind of. His god didn't like that.
Shit. Now you wear a face to match your soul.
Impossible. Death cannot take me. I am its master.
The rats! Together, we have crushed.
Oh yeah! One bad guy down, 2 more to go. This is where shit gets real. But if I know anything, it's that real recognizes real. The boss fights here get pretty insane. Unless I want to undo dozens of hours of progress, I'm gonna have to adapt. Luckily, there's some pretty equally crazy stuff to help with that. But before we do that, some Gith people jump out of a portal and attack us while we're sleeping.
I'm gonna bust you up, plum thumb, and then I'm gonna wear your clothes! That was weird.
We jump through the portal, which takes us to the astral plane, where we find the lady from our dreams, except she's a mind flayer and also not a chick. The mind flayer introduces himself as the Emperor and quickly informs us that he's one of the good ones. Okay. We kill the Githyanki attackers, and afterwards the Emperor explains that he's imprisoning Orpheus and using his powers to prevent us from becoming mind flayers. Orpheus is allegedly kind of a chill guy though, so that kind of sucks. Oh well. Now, for real, Act 3. First, we go to the circus and find this guy. We play his game, but we find out that he's cheating, so we cheat the cheater, and he sends us to Primordial Brazil as a punishment. That's okay though, because while we're here, we can find the Band of Mystic Scoundrel. Whenever we make a weapon attack, we can use our bonus action to cast spells. Combining this with the Helmet of Arcane Acuity from earlier, and the Swords Bard's flourishes, which target multiple enemies at once, we can effectively make our spells impossible to resist. Karlach gets a returning weapon that explodes when she throws it. And before moving on, I made the silly decision to spend 5,000 gold on a statue of myself. I immediately regretted it when the money left my wallet, but it turns out that the sculpture permanently blesses you. So it was a good purchase. After securing these upgrades, it's time to move forward. In order to get into Baldur's Gate, we promised to investigate a serial killer. We find the killer, and he...
You edgy bitch!
Okay, let the record show that poison splash shouldn't have happened. I did not put everyone there. Larian did. Thanks a lot, Larian. Whatever. I can do damage too. Eat shit, you... It turns out that this serial killer is related to a cult. We follow some cult leads to some weird temple in a basement, and there are these really cool looking zombie knights, so I mean, of course we have to fight them. And just like that, we hit level 11. Goodbye, Karlach.
Listen, don't you worry, pal. You had a good run. Enjoy your retirement.
Now, the next step is very important for our journey. This guy, Saravok, is evil, and he wants us to kill an innocent person. If we do, we get access to the ballast armor, which makes enemies nearby vulnerable to piercing damage. You know all that damage that Astarion does during his crits? Double it. And if we're using the Arrow of Aberration, it's like quadruple the damage. And I have a feeling that might come in handy. But we're the good guys. I can't bring myself to kill an innocent person. We're the Starman in the sky. Luckily, there is a way around this. We can pretend to be evil for a bit, just long enough until Saravok summons the NPC who sells the armor. Then, with the Scroll of Fog, we can get Astarion to pickpocket the NPC and steal the armor. Small issue though. I might be smart, but I'm also kind of a dumbass. Nunya has the Scroll of Fog, and he's in a conversation, which means I can't open his inventory. It's stuck. Which means we can't pickpocket without being spotted. Okay, new plan. Astarion can go invisible so long as he's not in a clearly lit space. First, we just need to turn off that fire. Fuck.
Interloper.
Well, that opportunity's gone forever. That sucks. But whatever, I'm sure it'll be fine. The lady that we saw with the Elder Brain is named Orin, and she is actually tied to this cult. She worships Baal, which is the god of murder. So now we get to kill her. This fight is kind of a weird one. In addition to Orin, we also have to face the god of murder, Baal himself. As long as his worshippers are alive, Baal can use his turn to mark a companion for death. If they don't kill someone by the end of their turn, they die. Non-negotiable. The Baal worshippers also imbue Orin with 12 stacks of Unstoppable per each turn, which means that the first 12 attacks that land against Orin are reduced to 1 damage. So, just kill all the cultists then, right? Unfortunately, that is way easier said than done. They are casting Sanctuary on themselves, which means that you cannot attack them specifically. It's time to whip out the AoEs and hope for some good RNG.
A metallic tang fills the air as the Slayer's form is drained of life. Ashes to ashes, blood to blood, you have robbed another god of his chosen.
2 down, 1 to go. And this is my favorite part of the run. It's time to get ourselves the objectively coolest item in the game. Remember the Night Song? A really strong wizard wants her to share her immortality, but we don't want to do that because it's morally wrong or something, I don't know. But we all get to scuffle over it and kill him. At the bottom of this tower is the most busted weapon in the game, the Marco Esker. We just need to disarm this trap and... we disarm the trap and there it is. It's a cool staff. It gives a bonus to your attacks and spell save DCs, but more importantly, you get to choose the type of magic to wield with an iron fist. If you use the Bolts of Doom action, your lightning spells do extra damage, but more importantly, you get to cast Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt once free per short rest. Now, Chain Lightning is already one of the best spells in the game. It can deal up to 80 damage normally and can hit a total of 4 people. If that enemy is wet, then that number doubles to 160. Using the Tempest Cleric Channel Divinity, that number will be 160 if they fail the roll. Even if the target succeeds, they still take 80 damage. And it doesn't even use a spell slot. But there's more. As a sorcerer, you can twin cast spells. If that spell only targets one person, you can use some sorcery points to target a second creature. Now, this used to work on Chain Lightning because you only click on one enemy. This means that you used to be able to hit up to 8 people with a single cast of Chain Lightning. Unfortunately for my dopamine receptors, they removed this interaction from the game a little while ago. But they didn't remove it well enough, because you can still twin cast Chain Lightning if you get it from the Bolts of Doom. God damn. Now, slight disclaimer, a patch has since come out since I've done this run, and I don't know if this works anymore. I hope it still does. Now that we have this nuke in our pocket, it's time to take on the last guy standing. The last mandatory boss before the final fight is Gortash. Before we fight Gortash, there's a slight detour I want to make. The Emperor revealed to me in a dream that he's kind of a dickhead. I've decided that he is the bad guy, so we're gonna free Orpheus. To do that, we need to steal a hammer from a devil. This devil is Raphael, and he's powerful. He's got 666 health points and can deal a shitload of damage. The solution? I have an off switch. Oh yeah, and that guy that we told to kill himself earlier, he died and went to hell, and hell is here. So we roll a 30 to tell him to fight with us.
To stand against a devil in his own home. That takes courage. I'm with you.
How tiresome. It's all the same in the end.
Lives, oh mortal lives, expire. Souls go to their dooms in flame forevermore.
That went better than expected. With everything else accounted for, it was time to head to Gortash. Without his steel watch, this fight is easier than your mom after a glass of wine. With all 3 of those miscreants out of the way, it's time to confront the Elder Brain. We find it and try to control it with the stones that we found, but something goes wrong. The the Emperor removes us from the situation and explains to us that this thing isn't just an Elder Brain anymore. It's evolved into a Nether Brain. And it's just too smart for us, I guess. So we have to become smarter by becoming a Mind Flayer. The Emperor's kind of a douche though, so instead we tell him to fuck off. He throws a hissy fit and joins the big bad. He'll regret that. Morpheus is a little angry, but we ultimately agree that the big brain is our common enemy. I also inform him that since we're all dumb, someone is going to have to become a Mind Flayer to fight the Nether Brain. And it's not gonna be me.
Just as I was free.
Yep.
All to wield these.
Yep. One slight problem with all of this. After this encounter with the Emperor, we can't go back to our camp anymore. Which means that our hireling clerics can't cast Warding Bond on us anymore. So, we're on our own. Thus begins the penultimate fight. We could just go around these guys, but Mama didn't raise no bitch. As we reach the stem of this brain, it's about time I've come clean about something. I haven't been entirely honest with you. In my last video, I made 3 attempts at honor mode. But this isn't my 4th attempt. Nor is it my 5th or even my 6th. This is my 7th attempt. My 6th attempt, which totaled up to 52 hours long, ended right here at this final fight. I died doing it. At the very last thing, I died. And I had to do all of this shit all over again. This attempt has been 48 hours long. Whatever happens here, I'm not trying it again. My wounded heart wouldn't be able to endure that again. But that also means I'm not leaving anything up to chance. Up that brainstem will be the Emperor, a dragon, and several Mind Flayer spell snipers. Not to mention the Emperor's lackeys who can command us to waste our turns. And even if we get through all those guys, we still have to deal with the Netherbrain herself. So, what's the plan? How are we going to kill all these guys before they kill us? Let me tell you all about Perilous Stakes. Perilous Stakes is only available to Illithids, i.e. the Mind Flayers. This thing is broken. You select an ally, and for 3 turns, their attacks will do an extra 15 damage. That doesn't sound like a lot, but guess what? This effect stacks. That means if someone were to spam it on a party member, let's say 7 times, each attack from that party member will do an extra 105 psychic damage. That being said, our attacks still have a chance to miss. If only there was a spell that could guarantee several hits in one action. Oh wait, there is.
The site of power, the site of domination.
I miscalculated.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah!
Its will is weakening. We have the upper hand. It's time to destroy the Netherbrain and end the Grand Design. I am death. Taste my fury.
This is it! Its will is weakening!
Yeah! Let's fucking go!